That's true. I am the master. The person is futures. I am the master of my future. I have mastered this art of control.
Welcome to Dayla the Demon Whisperer. I am Dayla Clem Dayla. I am your privileged host over here at Dayla the Demon Whisperer. And I would just want to know if you are able to hear me and see me okay. If you don't mind, just let me know in the chat if you can hear me and if you can see me. That'll let me know. Let me do my own sound check as well, just to be sure. Bear with me 1 second. Welcome to Daylight the Demon Whisperer. I know I haven't come before you in a while. I've just been kind of trying to find my way, and I think I found it. Tonight we're gonna actually take a look at something very interesting. I'm really excited to look at it with you. Let me just give myself a quick sound check. Okay, there we go. All right, there go my sound check. Very good. Everything looks great. Awesome. Well, thank you very much for being here. If you would go ahead and hit the like button to get this into the algorithm. As you know, this is a new channel, therefore it is very small. So if you would hit the like button, if you would leave a comment, if you would join us in the chat, and even if you'll share this video with your networks, that would definitely help spread the word about this channel. What we're going to take a look at tonight is a very interesting video that I haven't actually gotten a chance to see all of yet. I wanted to watch it with you. And you know, Dayla the Demon Whisperer is the spiritual side of Dayla Clem Dayla. So I thought this would be the best and most appropriate place for us to take a look at this together. So shout out to you and thank you so much for joining me as we get to watch this together. The video that we're going to watch is from a channel here on YouTube called Spirit Science. And the video is called What Happens After Death. So this should be very, very interesting. I'm excited to watch it with you. Want to just give a couple quick house rules to keep everything on the right path. House rule number 1, I think we're only going to go with 1. Just be respectful in the chat. If it's not your vibe, if you're not feeling it, I get it. Feel free to leave your comment. Feel free to say what you got to say, but don't be harassing or bullying nobody with your spiritual or religious beliefs. This probably isn't the place to do it. This channel is for demon whisperers, so we're not afraid of religious abusers either. That's a demon we're not afraid of either. So just be cool, be easy. If you don't agree, that's okay. Say so, but keep it respectful. That's all anybody would ask. Excuse me. Since it is so late, and this is my second show today, I'm going to go ahead and jump right in to the video so we can take a look together. And just to remind anyone watching, we are going to be using all of this according to fair use. This is content from another YouTube creator. So we are going to be using this for content, which gives us the right to use it for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, and research. And we'll be doing all of that together today. I'm excited to do it with you. So let's jump right in. And I will go ahead and create a playlist where we can keep these videos. And I'll add it to that playlist as well. And I'll tell you what that playlist is called as soon as I create it.
Hey, since the dawn of time, people have wondered about the meaning of life and asked this big question: what's on the other side of death? Most religions have described some kind of answer to this, the kingdom of heaven or nirvana or something of that nature. And what if they're all right? What if every answer about this ethereal realm on the other side could not only be known, but verified? Well, one of the best ways to know about what's on this other side are to hear the testimonials that come from others who have been there themselves. This is what I want to share with you today. As you might know, we've been working more closely with Gaia lately. Today, I want to share with you this really amazing clip that they have from one of their new shows, Renaissance. This show is incredible and features a series of amazing interviews from people who have actually passed on, saw the other side, and then came back. And what they had to say was seriously groundbreaking. While we're working on a fresh new slew of content for you, I wanted to take a moment to pop in and share with you this clip of one person who had a near-death experience named Vinnie Tolman, who had some amazing things to share about his experience on the other side. Get ready, this story is probably going to change your world. In fact, the entire show is absolutely amazing. I must say, if you don't have a Gaia account yet, use the link in the description to get access to the show and watch it right away. You won't be disappointed, promise.
My name is Vinny Todd Tolman, and before my near-death experience, as a youthful young 20-something-year-old, I was out exploring life. I'd traveled the world, done many different jobs, and I used to do bodybuilding or amateur bodybuilding. And back in January 18th, 2003, it started with a new supplement that me and a really good friend of mine had purchased online. We decided, hey, we're going to take this on a Saturday. We're going to go up and see a car show, do a workout at the gym, and just have a fun Saturday. So we get there to hit my buddy's place. We took this new supplement and immediately felt something was wrong. It felt almost as if cold ice started pumping through our veins. It felt like our whole body was starting to get cold. And I explained to my buddy that, hey, we should probably go get something to eat. Otherwise, we're going to be really sick. So we went down the street a few blocks to this fast food joint. We go in there, and as soon as I go in, I went straight into the bathroom. I felt like I was going to throw up or vomit. My buddy, he went in, he collapsed on the first booth he could reach, and he started to throw up. He started to vomit on the table. The manager of the restaurant called 911. They got him hauled away in an ambulance almost immediately, right away. And he turned out to be totally fine. They released him from the hospital the very next day. But meanwhile, me inside that bathroom, I myself start to vomit while I'm passed out on my back. And what happens is when you vomit on your back like that, you aspirate, you suffocate. And that's what happened to me. I died right there and then on the bathroom floor. I suffocated. And about 45 minutes later, the manager of the restaurant finally opened up that bathroom after a customer kept asking him to open it for him. He opened it and sees this dead body on the ground. He called 911, and from my point of view, I went directly from consciousness to feeling dizziness as if the room is spinning on me. And then out of nowhere, I'm just watching this scene unfold in front of me, and I'm watching a dead body on the ground. I'm watching a manager call 911. I'm watching even the customer asking to have the manager open the door. And it's very weird and odd to me because I can hear every thought in anyone's head that is near me. And I'm watching everything from above, which was also very odd to me. But it didn't dawn on me that this dead body I was seeing was me, because the body didn't look like me. The neck had actually already swollen wider than the jaw. There was very, very pallid purple and yellow tones on the skin. It almost didn't look human. And I didn't think for a second that was me, because me was up here watching what was going on. I watched them bag this body when the ambulance comes. They pronounce it dead. They put it in a body bag. They put it on a gurney, and they put it in the back of the ambulance. Meanwhile, the other medics, there's 3 medics that show up. There's a rookie who's brand new. He's sitting in the back with the body. The other 2 are out getting paperwork done. And I could feel his dismay because he felt like I wanted to be a medic. I wanted to be an EMT to make a difference. And he felt that he wasn't making that difference. He felt that these veteran medics didn't try for very long to resuscitate the body. He felt they should have tried for 20 minutes, not just 5 minutes. And they're going down the street. As they pull away from the scene, I see this glow start to form, and it really looked like a little miniature sun starting to glow in the heart space on the rookie medic who's sitting in the back of the ambulance. I see it start to glow, and it got brighter and brighter. And then I heard very loudly, "This one's not dead." I didn't know where that came from, but I definitely heard it, and I could tell that the rookie medic heard it too. Now, he froze. He kind of froze as soon as that was said, but he didn't do anything about it. I could hear him shrugging it off as, "That must have just been your imagination." But they went another block down the road, and the light started to glow even brighter. And I heard for a second time, "This one's not dead." And on that second time, he responded. He reacted. He unzipped the body bag. He undid a couple of straps that are around the body so that he could reach in and feel around the neck area for a pulse. He didn't feel a pulse, but it didn't stop him. He kept going. he was going to attempt resuscitation. So he forced oxygen into the lungs. He hooked up the body to a defibrillator. Well, the alarm is going off, and the other two medics start just yelling at him, saying, "You're going to get fired. You got to stop this. Stop what you're doing. You're desiccating a dead body. This is illegal." But he didn't care. He went ahead and let the first charge happen, and nothing happened after the first charge. He went ahead and let it recharge for a second time, and they were still chewing him out. But when the second charge happened, there was one single heartbeat. It allowed the other two medics to wait and watch. They knew he was going to go for a third
There
round.
you go.
And right after, within seconds of that third charge, there was a steady but faint heartbeat. So the team began resuscitation procedures of injecting things and doing all sorts of things for the body. But the body was having a really hard time with coming back. It was going into seizures, and they were strapping the body down. I was watching the strapping going on. I didn't feel anything until they got to the left arm. But when they strapped the left arm, I'm left-handed. I felt them strapping my left arm. And this was the first inkling, the first idea that what I'd been watching this whole time was my very own death. This is when I went to essentially the darkest place I've ever gone in my life. I had such an ego voice going, saying, "You're such an idiot. How could you not know that what you've been watching this whole time was your own death? How could you not know that?" And as I started to feel that and think that, I then started to see in very quick flashes all the negative influences I had on other people in my whole life. The things that I did to hurt people on accident or on purpose. I saw it not just through my eyes, but through their eyes, how it impacted them. And I started to feel this voice coming out of me saying, "You're not worth saving. Look at all this bad that you've done in your life." But then all of a sudden, in the same speed, I started to see all the good that I did. And there was a lot more good than I had ever done, way more. And I saw how much change I was able to impact people's lives in good ways. And this love started to pour over me from behind me. But it's so hard to describe in words because it's a love that we don't have here. It's an unconditional, pure love that doesn't exist in this space. At least that we can really feel like there. And this love poured over me, and this love, it had such a profound effect on me. I had a pretty rough upbringing. I had some darkness inside of me. And this love flushed it out, sealed it up, made it whole. And all of this is happening. I'm realizing that all of this love and this light and this energy is coming from behind me. And I can see a man standing behind me with very pink skin, very long white beard. He has long white hair. His eyes could pierce you. They could look through you. And they could essentially know not who you thought you were, but who you really were. And my first thought was, "Are you God?" And this gentleman just laughed. He said, "No, I'm not God." Then my follow-up question was, "You must be Jesus then. Even though you don't look like Jesus, you must be Jesus." And he laughed at that as well and said, "No, son, I'm not Jesus, but I'm here for you. I'm here to be your guide. I'm here to help you go wherever you want to go." And he showed me, he motioned, I could go back to my life or I could go forward with him, and he could show me what's next for me, what's next in line for my life. And of course, I didn't want to go back to the body. There was no question, because the body to me meant mistakes. It meant failures. It meant pain. It meant struggle. And so far, everything that I felt from this gentleman was absolute peace, unconditional love, and energy and power that was coming from him. And I wanted that. I wanted more of that. Whatever that was, that's what I wanted. So I told him, "I want to go with you. Wherever you're going, that's where I want to go." And he explained to me that we were going to start a journey. This journey was going to be from a lower understanding and a lower density to a much higher frequency and a much higher understanding. That we weren't just going to travel from space to space, but we're going to travel from dimension to dimension, from low dimension to high dimension. And as we're doing that, I had to raise my frequency. I had to raise my dimensional vibration to be able to match his, to keep going with him. I had to fully embrace these major principles to get where we were going to go. I would have thought that the first principle was going to be love, but it wasn't. The first principle was authenticity. That I had to realize that all of us are not authentic in this world. That the most authentic people in our world, in this earthly life, are the very young and the very old. Is because they have nothing to lose and nothing to gain by being inauthentic. And he explained to me that through this life, we put different facades on the outside of us. We put different masks on for different people. And that I needed to get to a point where I could be the same person no matter who I was around. And that was actually quite hard for me. I didn't realize that I had put on so many masks. And he helped me one at a time peel those all away and start building cleanly on a new foundation. And that's what he did with authenticity. Then he brought me to understand the purpose of life, why we come here. I was taught something very different in my church and in my upbringing. I was taught more that we're here to be proven and to be tested. But it was very clear that our life here is not a courtroom, but a classroom. That we're here to learn, to grow, to exercise the power of creation, and that as we existed in heaven before here, anything God wanted, we wanted instantly. And that for us to really grow, it's just like Earth. We had to leave home. And it was scary. We had to go through a veil of forgetfulness because that love is so strong and so powerful that even the remembrance of that love would prevent us from having true free agency. We would still be making decisions out of obligation of that love because, again, that love is so powerful. And one of the most important things I learned was to master my thoughts, because truly our thoughts themselves create. They end up becoming who we are. They become our character and where we go in our life. And it's so important for us to come from an energy of love with our thinking, especially when we think about ourselves. It amplifies whatever we desire that we want to create. And that brought me all the way to where I was seeing this vast planet. And it was surrounded by this almost like a cloud mist. But what was odd to me is I looked around and I could not see a sun. And I was led to know through my guide, his name is Drake. Drake led me to know that this space was lit from within. So the light in this space of heaven, it comes from within everything. That's why there's so many colors we don't have here, because the actual existence of light is different, because everything glows there, everything. And when I say glow, I don't mean like glow in the dark glow. I mean glow like our sun glows. And to even bring a single blade of grass here to our earth, it would explode it because there's so much energy in a single blade of grass there. And we're at such a low density here that we couldn't vibrate at that such high frequency. We would be incinerated just to bring that here. That's why there is this tunnel or this journey that we have to go through for us to get to heaven, is we have to really ramp up our frequency to be able to get there. And as I did, I touched down, I got into heaven, I got to feel the grass. Again, the grass was the most beautiful thing I'd ever seen in my entire existence. The grass had a distinct, loving music frequency coming from it. Just to even be near it, you would feel connected to everything in heaven. It was such a beautiful experience. And as I'm literally glowing in this space, I'm feeling the connectedness of the grass and all the plants and the water and the healing power of this water. When my guide, Drake, he pulls me aside and he says, Vinny, this is going to be very hard, but it's going to be worth it. And out of nowhere, I start hearing my brother's voice, my brother from Earth. I hear his voice as loud as he's speaking in my own ear. And I hear him giving a special prayer. Now, meanwhile, I've been in a coma. I've been brain dead for 3 days. And my brother is standing over my body and giving me a love that I didn't know he had for me as he said this prayer over me. And he finished with the sentence, I bless you to be made whole. Here I was in heaven. I finally felt whole. But this blessing to make me whole, it actually tore me away from there. And right before I was taken away, I got this amazing hug from Drake. I got to feel and understand the cosmos. I got to feel and understand what all of this means. Why we're here, why there's time, why there's struggle. I learned it all. And I was just poured love. Love that I never deserved. Love that I still strive to be worthy of today. And it was just a pristine experience to feel that power, such a power that I didn't know existed in all the cosmos. And then I was forced back. The next thing I remember, I woke up. I woke up out of a 3-day coma, being brain dead. I pulled every tube off of me, every sensor off of me. I felt so confined. And the reason I felt so confined is who we really are is much larger than this form. So I woke up at 1:11 in the morning. I was checked out at 7:30 a.m., even though every single department tried to resist and did not want me to go. I still signed all the waivers. I got out of there and I went jogging. I actually went jogging that day and had no problems whatsoever. I had no residing effects of my death other than I'm a different person now.
Wow. Wow. Well, I'll say this. That was not even close to what I expected. That was very different than what I expected. It was beautiful, though. I'd like to know what part of that related to you the most. I thought it was very interesting that this is the first video we get to look at together, because I've been on that journey. It wasn't with Drake. And fortunately, I don't think it was post a near-death experience. I believe it was very much before the one near-death experience that I had. I don't know if I died or if I almost died, but I just know I woke up and my car was going through a red light and there was a bunch of dust behind me and I couldn't see nothing. And I was asleep while I was driving. So I don't know. It happened to be like a couple days after my mom passed away. I was driving in Palm Springs in one of those dust storms, and I fell asleep. And woke up going through a red light, and when I looked through the rearview mirror, it was a whole bunch of dust and lights and stuff behind me. But I don't know. I just kept driving. Me and my car were fine. I don't know what the fuck was going on. But anyway, I also thought it was very interesting that he said not all of us are authentic. And that's something I had to learn. You know, there's some people here that are like literally full of shit. When we say there are people that are full of shit, that was his nice way of saying that. Excuse me. I'm 44 years old, and it was just in this 43rd year, that 43rd year, that I finally realized there are niggas out here that ain't shit. Ain't shit. So it's very interesting that he said that. I love that he was talking about going from this experience of the lowest frequency and density to the highest. Now, he related it to heaven, which I personally don't believe there's a such thing as heaven. I believe that when people die, they cease to exist and their consciousness vaporizes and becomes available to everyone. Their body is wherever you put it, but their essence, their energy just becomes available. I've had someone who passed away not too long ago, who it seemed as though from their vantage point, when they died, they just, everything stopped for them. Kimiko, you said you're allowed to move on when you complete your task. If you don't complete your task, you'll return in a different vessel. I like that. I definitely like that. And I agree with that too. I'm hoping this is my last go round. But I'm also a teacher and a healer, and those energies are necessary in the earth. It was interesting that he talked about the purpose for people being on earth. And it always depends on like what your spiritual or religious vantage point is. But I honestly believe that our purpose to be on earth is to experience bliss, and thereby sharing that energy and making the planet a better place. For those of us who've chosen to come to this planet and there is an assignment, I do just believe it's to be happy. To be happy, to experience bliss, because that's all we work toward. Everything we do as human beings on this planet, from the time we enter it until the time we leave it, is to feel good, is to enjoy it. Our whole, everything we do, the reason why we work, the reason why we have families, the reason we get married, the reason we're in relationships, the reason we get jobs, the reason we drive cars, the reason we work in the field, the reason why we sew, the reason why we dance, the reason why we sing, the reason why we exist is to be happy. And we do a lot of things that we think are going to get us there, or that we know are going to get us there, but ultimately that's what we want. So once I realized that, everything I did and the way I do everything changed. And when I think about heaven, I literally have to think about as above, so below. In the fact, I know it's been taught to be very evil, but here at the Demon Whisperer channel, it's not. It's an idea and understanding that heaven is right up in here. All it is. This is heaven, and this is earth. And as above, whatever's happening, whatever energy, whatever I choose to be and flow in up here is what I'm going to experience down here. And I can literally transform my life from heaven or hell based on what's happening in my thoughts, in my mind, in my third eye, in my consciousness, in my imagination. That's just what I personally believe. Kimiko, you said, I think your life force will move on when you reach the ones you're supposed to touch. I like that. I like that. Have you ever felt, Kimiko, like you've met these people before sometimes? Like you come into contact with people and you're like, I agree, it's not evil. You come into contact with people and you're like, I know you. I know I do. I just don't know where from. I do believe that there are certain people, like there are times when I'll pass someone on the street and I get the understanding that that was someone that I was supposed to know at some point in time, and at some point in the past lives, that karmic cycle to need to know that person was broken. So this time I get to just pass them on the street, because I don't believe there's anyone we meet, even virtually, like me and you, Kimiko, talking right now. I don't believe there's anyone we meet who we're not supposed to know. I don't think anything's coincidence. And I believe that in our lives, we can, like, I'll give you an example. I was at a gas station while I was traveling recently, and there was a man in a truck who I saw. And something in my mind showed me this entire story of what would have been if I was in a different place in my life, if my mind, if my understanding, if my energy, if my self-concept was at a different place. And I almost got the understanding that in a different lifetime, I had to go through something. And this time I get to just pass by. Does that make any sense? I hope so. If not, I totally get it if it doesn't. But yeah, a lot of those deja vu moments are really powerful. You know, our mamas always told us that makes you where you're supposed to be right now. And I always have deja vus when I'm in the middle of a major transition, change, elevation in my life. A lot of times. That was all I had for us. That was actually quite beautiful. I don't want to hold us too long because it is so late. There was one other video they had up that I thought might have been interesting to watch, but I do get a little inkling in me to share something. Y'all know one of my favorite YouTubers because the energy that is conveyed is so similar to what I walk in is Elmer O. Locker Jr. The channel is called Elmer O. Locker Jr. And I think I just want to share maybe just a quick random video from that channel just to kind of maybe put things more in perspective as we talk about that heaven and whether or not there's a need. I said Elmo and brought up Elmo. My fat fingers. I said Elmo. Yeah, I just want to bring up a quick something, just a quick video. I know we watched a little bit of him when we were taking a look at Trinius Henderson and what I think is his scamming ass. And we wanted to just kind of balance things so that we could see how it should be done. I thought it was very interesting. I was listening to a very old Elmer Locker video where he was reading out of a book. Remember I told you there's YouTubers that get on here and just read. They just read out of books. You could do that too. And at some point, it was really funny because he stopped. The person who actually runs his channel is named David. And he stopped and he was like, and now I just want to give a moment to our sponsors. Just kidding. And he kept reading. And that hit the nail on the head of what bothers me so much about those. The ones who take advantage of people in the spiritual community is especially bothersome to me. When I've been taken advantage of, not just in the church, but by these Iyanifas and Babalawos, you know. So it's really nice to see somebody who just wants to share information, has a link to their businesses. If you want to check out their businesses, do that. But they ain't out here trying to peddle all their wares. So I thought I'd share this quick. I think this is a good idea. I'm going to share this quick 11-minute video. It just came out 12 hours ago, so I haven't seen it. It's going to be new to me just like it's new to you. And maybe it will kind of help with that whole, I have a feeling, because I don't know what it is. I haven't seen it yet. But I have a feeling because I'm drawn to this channel to edify my thoughts and the way that I think. And I literally think that we can create heaven right here on earth. I feel, to be honest with you, like I live in heaven. I literally do. My life is so amazing. And when things don't line up, that's when I know they gotta go. When I say Satchitananda, truth, consciousness, and bliss, if it don't line up, it's gotta go. And my father was very strict with me about understanding. He had a phrase that he would say, and it was like when I would talk to him about things in my life that might be stressing me out, he would say, if anything ever takes you out of your realm of peace, it doesn't deserve to exist in your world. If anything takes you out of your realm of peace, it doesn't deserve to exist in your world. And, you know, he would say to me sometimes, I once never knew you. And I was living just fine before I met you. So I carry that same energy into my daily life. So let me share this video with you, just so we can kind of decompress from what we just watched, but also maybe it'll kind of help you, Kamiko, on your path of gaining that wisdom that you were talking about. Let me get that together. Give me 1 second. You know what, Kamiko, I'm going to share something with you since we are over here on the Demon Whisperer channel and I'm free to communicate the way that I'm supposed to about these things. Let me tell you something that a few of my ancestors began to do recently. My grandfathers become very, I can hear them very clearly when I meditate on my root chakra. I can hear my grandmothers very clearly when I meditate on my sacral chakra. I can hear my mother so clearly that I can see her face when I meditate on my solar plexus chakra. I can hear my father so clearly when I meditate on my heart chakra. And although I don't know if my brother's passed on or not, I know he ain't in his right mind. And so it would make sense. He and I have always had a very telepathic relationship. And I believe that oftentimes he communicates to me through my throat chakra. So oftentimes when you combine those worlds, all kinds of superpowers come. Yeah, your ancestors are very valuable. Very, very valuable. And they want to do work for you too, Kamiko. They don't just want to guide you. Like, they actually want to do shit for you. So give them assignments. Because they got power. You know? They're more than just tour guides or whisperers. They can actually fight. They can actually get deals done. They can go before you. You know what I'm saying? Our ancestors are powerful. When we talk about angels, we're talking about our ancestors. When we talk about demons, we're talking about our ancestors. Thanks for bringing that full circle. I appreciate that. Let me go ahead and get this video up so that we can take a look at this, and then I'm going to let you go so you can enjoy the rest of your evening. Thanks for joining me here. It'll be this one. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. And I'm going to do a quick sound check too to make sure we're good.
If I were to tell you that you actually already had everything that you desire, like right now in the present moment, you actually have everything that you want. Like if it's $30 million or it's a new relationship, or it's to be healthy, it's to be fit, you know, to have a new house, a new car, whatever it is, you actually have those things right now. You actually already have those, because I am that I am. You are all consciousness. Creation is already finished. And when you can just step into, I'm going to step forward. When you can just step into this version of yourself that already has that and truly believes that, understands that I am that I am, that I'm living in a simulation, that I am all that is. Like Moses said, tell them that I am sent you. I am that I am. You are, I am that I am. You are it. Like my grandfather used to tell me. My grandfather used to tell me, it was kind of funny, but he used to come up to me and he would say, Tag, you're it. And I would always get confused. And it was kind of a spooky thing until I really figured out how it all operated, because I knew the stuff that he was teaching, and I had fear towards it at first when I was first getting into it. I was like, oh my gosh, my world's not real. It's kind of scary. Is there people after me? But really, it's like me creating everything. But he never had that fear. He never had anything. He would just say, Tag, you're it. And what that means is, it's like if I were to say, Tag, you're it. You're watching this video right now. Tag, you're it. You are it. You are all there is. You are all that I am. You are I am. Okay? So you are all consciousness. So Tag, you're it. So you are the one. You are, every single one of you in here watching this video is it. You are it. You are consciousness. And when you can connect yourself to the feeling that creation is finished and that you are everything, actually, everything is you. I am that I am. Then you can kind of generate this new idea in your mind to where you consent to new things being true, and it helps you manifest things much more effortlessly. Like if you could just stop yourself throughout the day, you know, momentarily, and say, I am that I am. I am all there is. Everything is me. I am everything. I am consciousness. I am the simulation. I can control everything and manipulate it through my imaginal, you know, what I consent to being true, by changing my experiences and beliefs of what I consent to being true of my world. And you know that creation is actually finished. And I want to explain a little bit about that. Like creation, like people ask me, so if the past isn't real, then why can't I change it? Or, I'm a little bit confused about the past, and I try to explain it in this way. The human mind that you consent to being true, that you deal with every single day, and how you operate in your world, is 3-dimensional. Okay, unless you go into flow state, unless you go into a deep meditation, and then you can enter fourth dimension or fifth dimension. You can pass through the different dimensions. But I'm going to give you an example of what time space actually is, like the fourth dimension time space. Like if I could see you, like I'm going to teach you about time, the way time exists, and about your world and how it exists. So for example, if I were to know you in the fourth dimension, like if I could see you in the fourth dimension, I would be able to see you from the day you were born till the day you died, all at one time.
Mhm.
Like literally the day you were born and the day you died, I'd be able to see it all at one instant. I would be able to see it all. And that's God. That's what the simulation sees, the subconscious sees. Everything's already done. Everything's already finished. That's the fourth dimension. The fourth dimension, consciousness and the subconscious can see your life from the day you were born to the day you died, all at one time. Okay, all in that one moment. All in that one moment, it can see you. But there's infinite amount of parallel realities that exist simultaneously. So essentially, we're living in movies with an infinite amount of versions of ourselves, and they all finish differently, and that's how you shift. Okay, but they're all completed. Every single one of them every single movie is completed. We're just passing through, with our human minds, but really it's already finished. In God's eyes, in the subconscious mind's eyes, everything's already finished, because in the fourth dimension, it is finished. All right. So there's no difference between the past and the future. And it's the only way to change anything is actually in the present moment. That's when you have the power to change and shift into these different movies that exist, on top of one another. They exist simultaneously, parallel to each other. And there's an infinite amount of these different videos or movies that are already completed, where you can live an entirely new life by simply, changing your feeling states, creating, new states of consciousness. That's how you shift in the simulation. But essentially, everything is already finished. And that's what that means. Because in the fourth dimension, we're just passing in the third dimension, we're just passing through the fourth slowly. But really, it's already finished. Everything's already done. But in the movie that we're passing through, towards the end, it finishes it a specific way if you stay in your current state of consciousness. But as you shift to new states of consciousness, you actually changed movies. You changed it. It's like going into a movie theater. Like if you go into a movie theater and you sit there, that the movie's already been written, produced, acted in, and it's already done. You're just watching the movie from the beginning to the end. Okay, but the movie's really already done. That's exactly what you're living in now. The simulation is designed that way. Everything that you're experiencing now is already finished. It's just a movie that's already finished. But the tricky and the magical part about this is all the movies, there's an infinite amount of different movies that exist on top of one another. And you can shift to any one of those other movies by simply changing your feeling states, your states of consciousness, and falling asleep with the subconscious, which controls all the simulations, all the parallel realities. And it has to shift you to the other realities that kind of correlate or mirror your current state of consciousness. Because as you increase and raise your states of consciousness to have different things, you have to shift to different worlds in order to receive those things. So that's essentially how it works with the fourth dimension, and the example of it being just a movie. That's all we're living in. It's just a movie. That's all we're living in. It's a movie that's actually already complete. We just can't see that it's complete because we live our lives in the three-dimensional world, and that's the way it was programmed. Because if we lived our life, if you could actually experience things in the fourth dimension, you would see everything all at one time. It would just be like this one thing that you could see, and it would be everything. And that's the way that God sees us. That's the way the subconscious mind sees us. But in the human mind, we're just passing through in the third dimension, which we're passing through slowly in the fourth dimension, passing through, but it's already all completed. And essentially, once you start to understand how all of this stuff works, it really assists you with your manifestation abilities. Once you truly get a good grasp and feel of how everything works and what's creating what, and how to manipulate it, and just know like the underlying cause of everything. That's what really steps your game up with manifestation, and how you could say, you want to know what, this isn't real. I understand it all. Now that once you understand it all, it changes to what you consent to being true of everything. And once you change that, then it changes your concept and your states of consciousness. And then you start believing something different. And that's what shifts you in the multiverse. You start shifting to different worlds when you do that, which still kind of correlates with the old. You'll still see kind of like old remnants of other people, but you're still shifting. You'll shift back to that world, and you'll shift back to that world, where you have everything that you desire. So it's super fun. And really, that's the way you got to look at it, is that life is meant to experience and to live a joyful, happy life and a great experience of life. So if you find that you're stressed out and you're fearing and you have all this stuff going on where you're just like, oh my gosh, I don't like my life, you have to realize that it's actually really amazing. You're just overthinking. You have to be more childlike, realize, and just put yourself in the present moment too. A lot of times, if you put yourself back in the present moment, kind of slows time down to where you can just enjoy the present moment. And it's just wonderful. It's just an amazing feeling to be present and just to be able to have legs to walk with, to be able to see, to hear, to feel, these basic things that we overlook every day. Just the ability just to walk, that's amazing. And smell, and feel the sun on your skin, it's amazing. So just, be grateful, be joyful, send love out there to everybody, and just enjoy the present moment. Be in the present. Be grateful for what you have, and then, shift your states of consciousness that way. And remember, what you fall asleep with at night, that's what really controls which reality you live in right now. So if you're not happy with the reality you're living in, you have to change who you are as you're going to sleep. You have to see your world in that light, that you actually love your life. You love your world. So if you hate your world now, you have to shift into that person that loves their world. Because once you shift into the person that loves their world and they love everything they experience, that's the world that the subconscious mind feels that you're living in. And it has to shift you to that movie. It shifts you to that movie where all of a sudden you love your world. So it's actually a tricky play with things, of how that works. It's actually really cool. There's a butterfly. I'm trying to find Neville out here. I don't see him. I don't know if he left or not, but he's probably eating some fish down low. There's a lot of fish in this pond.
You have to tell me about
All right,
that.
guys, I love you. I'm going to leave a link to a sleep meditation in the description. The very first link in the description. It's a free meditation. I don't want your emails. You don't have to give me anything in return. I don't care. Just click on it, download it, use that for your own increase of states of consciousness, and just to be more abundant and to fall asleep with new feeling states and to shift to a new movie. All right. I love you guys, and I'll see you in the next one.
That was so apropos, because he reminded me, it was something that I thought in the last video we watched, the first video rather we watched, where the man said he didn't feel, he got this level of love that he didn't feel like he deserved. And I was thinking, and I wrote it down, but I didn't get to say anything until just now. That's crazy to me. If you feel like you don't deserve love, what's up, Ted? Welcome in. If you feel like you don't deserve love, then you'll never have love. And so I think that it tickles me often when that idea is celebrated in religions, for a person to be like, I don't deserve this love. Well, that's some bullshit. That's some bullshit. I remember when I was just being, the earliest stages of me being delivered from Christianity, I literally heard God say in my spirit, I never created you to separate myself from you with anything. You've always been deserving of my love. And it was like, what? So I want to welcome you guys, if you haven't already, to please join us on Patreon, because in addition to the free membership that is on Patreon, this is where a lot of this stuff is going to go for the rewatch. Also, I want to start doing some more readings and doing some daily readings and that sort of thing. Also, along with your membership, your paid membership on Patreon, comes a very special benefit, a very personal benefit. So I definitely want to encourage you to go take a look at our Patreon. It is recommended by the Breakdown Patreon. So if you're a member of Patreon, a member of the Breakdown Patreon, you'll see that Dayla the Demon Whisperer is one of the recommended channels. Also, if you just want to look on Patreon, then you can look for Dayla the Demon Whisperer. But I wanted to share that with you guys so that we can connect a little bit more. I will be leaving this up, though, on YouTube as well as up, and it's available on Patreon as well. So I did give the offer if anybody wants to get a reading. I do have some time. I can do one question, and I can give a complimentary reading right now while we're live. I do have a special deck of cards just for this channel. They are consecrated for the Dayla the Demon Whisperer crew. So whether you are watching on YouTube or whether you are a Demon Whisperer trainee over on Patreon, we do have a special deck of cards. So if there is a question that you have that you want me to ask about, then I'm happy to do that. I'm going to make that available to you. Okay, I can do one question right now, up to about 10 minutes each if you have anything, and it is complimentary. So just let me know. Other than that, I'm trying to give a second to see. I don't think you're trying to start back doing cards. You know, one thing I learned, Kamiko, and I'm glad we're having this conversation. Whenever you have an inkling that you're going to start doing something, that's literally just your future self saying it's going to happen. So just ease into it, lean into it. You know, there was a time when I first moved to Phoenix and I was getting my nails done, and I just started getting so dissatisfied with the quality and the price combination, customer service, and all the other things that were getting on my nerves, having to drive 40 minutes just to go to a good nail shop. And I can do nails. And something was like, you're going to have to start doing your own nails. And I was like, all right, well, if that's what I'm supposed to do, then everything I need will be added to me, because I seek first my kingdom, my heaven, and everything that brings me righteousness, peace, and joy. So if that's what I'm supposed to do, then everything I need will be added to me. And it has been. So, and it saves me a lot of money too. I didn't even realize how much money it saved me to do my own nails and do my daughter's nails. So, and I enjoy it. It's pretty cool. I enjoy it. It brings back good memories. It's something I'm able to do for her as well. So yeah, definitely. If you're supposed to start getting back into your cards, you will. Just relax. Don't ever feel like you have to do something just because you feel like you will. You will. It was just like what we just saw. Oh, you bought new cards a year ago. But you know what? I'll be honest with you, Kamiko. I have thrown decks out. I've had several decks that I have thrown out. Like, I don't need that deck anymore. That deck has told me everything it needs to tell me. I had the same deck of cards from 2016 until 2023. And I threw them out. I was done with them. It was time to let those go. I mean, I bought these playing cards before, and it's just been time to let them go. So you never know. Don't let yourself get. One thing about the spirit that, you know, a lot of times we can become very religious spiritually, and then things bog us down. So keep it light. Keep it light and easy. I think it was in there's writings in the Bible that say, Jesus said, my yoke is easy and my burden is light. And even when I was a Christian, I kept that as a litmus test of my relationship with God. If Jesus said my yoke is easy and my burden is light, then that means that this shouldn't be hard and it shouldn't be difficult. Which is how I kind of realized the God of the Bible is not my God, because that's not an easy life and it's not life. But Eshu and Oshun and Lakshmi and them, we get along real well. Very good. I love that. You've never done a reading or you've never had a reading, Ted? Which one? Because I'll tell you the truth as well. Like, I saw myself doing readings before I even ever started throwing cards. I saw myself doing readings before I ever started throwing cards. And I was like, okay, if that's what I'm supposed to do. The only reason I ever got into magic was because I knew my daughter would have the gift. And I needed to train so she wouldn't feel weird. You've never had a reading performed for you? Well, Ted, do you have a question that you'd like to ask? It could be something as simple as anything, whatever comes to the top of your mind. Now's a good time. It's free. We charge for these things. These things aren't usually free. Listen, I'll tell you the truth. A lot of times, matter of fact, I got a free reading from a YouTuber about 6 years ago. And it manifested the answer that the information that she shared with me during that free reading, I put into effect, and it actually manifested into what she said it would be late last year. It did. So if you got a question, then let me know. Other than that, I'll give a minute to see if you come up with something while I sit my citrus punch. I think Panera Bread put something in this punch because it is so good. Oh, it's good. If I was to ask the cards anything right now for you, Ted, off the top of my mind, it would be something like, what's the overall energy of next week? Something like that. That's usually how I get into it. It don't sound like you got nothing, and it's okay if you don't. I appreciate you guys for being here, for allowing me to be in this space with you. It means a lot to me. I don't have a closing song or anything over here. I don't have anything. I don't sing. I don't do nothing. Maybe I'll do it. That's all I got. Ain't got no more. Let me see. That's a great question, Ted. That is awesome. I'm so proud of you for asking that. I am so proud of you for asking that question. That's awesome. You know, I'm going to tell you something from my own heart, and then I'm going to go grab those cards because I leave them in a place until I need them. Because I take the cards that we use together very seriously. I do keep them consecrated. But recently, maybe yesterday, I read something because we read. I read something that said, stress is not about what's happening in your life, and anxiety is not about what's happening in your life. It's about the way you think about it. So let me go get these cards for you, Ted. I'll be right back. Did you get all that popcorn? Get all that? Is there any left? Thank you, David. Sorry, I had to go check on little baby Della. It's my pleasure, Ted. It really is my pleasure. Anything to not have to talk about Dalton. It's my pleasure. All right, let me put these other cards out the way. All right, so the question that you are asking is, what can you do to move past the feeling of anxiety you've been having lately? You have no explanation of, oh, I took it off the screen. You have no explanation of why you're feeling it. You just, for whatever reason, are feeling overwhelmed. Right. You tell me everything I need to know and show me the full picture so that I can have a clear understanding. Thank you. So there's like 3 different messages, and I think it's like the energy, the overall energy of what's going on with you, the advice for you, and what you don't see. Because I believe that anytime, it don't really matter what I believe, but anytime you feel stress or anxiety, there's like a sixth sense about you that's like, what is it that I don't know? What is it that I don't see? So I want to look at that too, but I want to look at the overall energy of it. I don't know. So let me just speak honestly, and I could be completely wrong. So let me just speak. Okay. And then you take it. If it resonates, hold on to it. If it doesn't, let it go. But it feels as if you really love your job, but you're really scared about the future. And changes that could come to interrupt the stability that you've built. Like maybe a fear of starting over. That's what I get is the overall energy. Can I ask you, does that make any sense? Does that resonate with you at all? And then when I go on to take a look at the advice that you're giving, wow, that's good. That's awesome. I hate to act like I'm surprised. I am sometimes. I am surprised sometimes. I might be way off. Well, good. That means we're on the right track. Good. That's why I wanted to check in. Because I could be wrong. But the advice that I'm giving to you is to part of what will help you feel less stressed is if you save more money. If you increase your savings and increase your personal investments, then something in the back of your mind will be ready for whatever, and you won't feel the need to do this rat race thing. You say you've been there for 8 years and have had feelings of wanting to leave. Just like I said before to Kamiko, oftentimes you know something's coming. You just got to lean into it. There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with feeling like wanting to leave it all. That might be you telling you, okay, it's time to plan our exit. And sometimes the scariest thing to do is want to leave everything. But that's only because you may not have that plan. And what I see here, and I'll show you the cards I'm looking at, if it means anything to you. Literally, this 4 of Diamonds is a card that literally shows, if it was on a picture of a traditional tarot, right, Kamiko, it's a man with 4 cups around, not cups, 4 coins around him. And he's kind of waiting for the next thing, waiting for a ship to come in, waiting for the next opportunity. And that's where I got the inkling to tell you to save more money. If you have an opportunity, if you have anywhere in your finances that you can save a little bit more money, that'll give you the peace of mind that you need. But I also feel like, Ted, you need to create a plan. because in my own personal readings, I've gotten this card quite a bit lately, and it literally talks about triumph. This is the 7 of clubs, the 7 of fire, the 7 of wands, and it literally talks about like triumph. You know, so I think that what you're being, gosh, wow, it's a long time too. What you're being encouraged, I'm gonna use the word encouraged because I feel like that's what it is. What I would encourage you to do, in addition to saving more money, Ted, is to become more comfortable communicating with your future self. Because that's who's trying to talk to you right now. And the only reason you're stressed and anxious is because you ain't used to talking to your future self. That's just like if your phone ring at 2 o'clock in the morning, you be like, who dead? Who died? Don't nobody call me this time of morning. Literally, if you are able to get in touch with your future self and become more comfortable with that, then I would definitely see you being more okay with this. Because then you'd be able to say, okay, future self, I feel this inkling that I want to leave. What I need to do? What's going on? What do you know that I need to know? Without throwing tarot cards or anything. So I want to make a recommendation to you before I get to what you don't see. And when I say this, let me say this first. When we get to what you don't see, there's going to be one thing that's a little, oh shit. Never mind. I'll say it in a minute. There is a subliminal that I listen to every single fucking night. It's only 6 minutes long, and I'm going to put it in the chat. I'm going to put a link to it in the chat. It's literally called Your Future Self. And it's a song. You don't know what's happening. I don't know if you get it in subliminals, Ted. And if you don't, if it scares you, then don't do it. But I literally listen to this subliminal every night. It's a really cute little song. Dun, 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 dun. Dun, 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 dun. It's one of my first subliminals that I listen to every night. And I listen to it on my way to sleep. And literally, I can talk to my future self. As a matter of fact, I'll tell you this. Anyone who usually when I do these readings, I teach more. But you said this was your first reading, so I wasn't going to waste your energy on teaching. But usually when I do these readings, I'm actually communicating with the future you who already figured all this shit out. I just didn't say that out loud. But if you ever look at any of my other readings I've done, any readings I've ever done where I've done a reading for someone, then you'll hear me say, can I talk to the future Ted where this already been worked out and he done got over this stress and anxiety? How did you figure it out? And that's where I get your advice from. So that's my cheat code. So let me go ahead. Give me 1 second. Let me grab that for you, and then I'll share with you what you don't see. And it's very interesting because I don't know if it means anything to you, but what's in front of you that you don't see is a Queen of Spades, and what's behind you that you may not see is a King of Spades. And we'll talk about that in just a minute. Let me grab that meditation for you. Not meditation, subliminal. Let's see. I need to change. Give me 1 second. Let me change. Let me log into that account over here. I feel excited for you though, Ted. I literally feel like I don't know if you just saw the video we were talking about where he talked about shifts and transitions. And I don't know if you are familiar with the idea of shifting from one reality to another. But that's what you're on the precipice of, I believe. I believe that, Ted, you are on the precipice of an entire shift where you're going to look back and be like, that was definitely an old life. Okay, you came in at the end of it. I'm going to create some kind of playlist so I can put that in there and you can watch it later. But I honestly feel like, and I felt like this months ago, when you said you were in IT, I literally feel like there's there's your own company brewing or something like that, or retirement or something like that where you'll be more free. That's just what I think. That's my what resonates with me. Let me grab that subliminal so you don't have to wait. I apologize. Hold on. Yep, it's the coolest little thing. It's just a song. You'll just think you're listening to a song. And what I always like to do, matter of fact, I'm gonna share my screen with you, Ted, since we have a couple more minutes. That was 10 minutes, but I'm gonna take some more, if that's okay with you. I want to show you kind of something that I do whenever I work with these subliminals. To kind of make it a little bit more easy for me too. Bear with me 1 second. I'm going to share with you what I'm talking about. So one thing I like to do, turn the volume down. See, I told you it was just a cute little song. It's just a cute little song. You know what I'm saying? It is the cutest little song. I love it. And it's only 6 minutes long. And one thing I like to do is I actually like to go into the description, and if there is a list, I can't talk over the music. If there is a list of benefits or affirmations, then I always like to take a look at it. I don't know if they put one here. Did they put a link to one? Oh, here it is, right here. So this one is really simple. So be able to see and talk to your future self. Be able to ask your future self questions. These are really two very, I would say, bedtime as you're dozing off to sleep. Yep. Or you can play it while you're at work or while you're brushing your teeth or, whatever, moving about your day. If this is the only one you're listening to, I actually have several playlists of subliminals for different things. I've been using them for a long time. And this particular subliminal list is the one that I listen to while I sleep. So this entire list plays while I sleep. But this is one of the very first ones that I listen to, so that while I'm listening to the other subliminals, my future self is part of the conversation. Very good question. I've also listened to that subliminal in the morning right before I meditate as well. I actually replay some of those same subliminals when I wake up in the morning. So they play while I'm sleeping, and then in the morning I replay some of them right before I meditate. So I just want to help you navigate that. So let me share with you this last part before I let you go. The two things that you're not able to see. It's really interesting because I don't take it lightly when the card comes out and they're matching cards, but they're kind of the same suit. You got a Queen of Spades and a King of Spades. And oftentimes in tarot, when we talk about spades, we talk about some deceit. But we're also talking about somebody who is, in this particular essence, I'm thinking about somebody who is attacking you mentally. Literally, here's the words I hear, Ted. I literally hear thought bombs. I'm thinking of someone who appears one way, maybe very feminine, demure, mindful, very cutesy, but is actually a little bit more brutal, a little bit more cunning than you think. And there's someone who, I don't get that. I don't understand why though. Why would somebody send him to top off? Why would? Just to make your life miserable. And we'd have to talk more because I'm seeing that come from a loving place, a place where there should be love. Coming from a place where there should be love is someone who literally like wants all your time and wants all your attention, and literally won't just leave you alone so you can enjoy your life and choose them on your own. That's kind of what I'm getting, and I could be completely wrong and completely off base, but it's almost like that person is like, choose me or choose work, and that's crazy to me. I don't know if that makes sense. If it doesn't, then let it go. But that's just kind of what I saw. It does look like what you're not seeing is someone who is literally attacking your thought life, and you definitely want to listen to this subliminal, so that you're able to ask questions and understand it a little bit more. Was there anybody else that had a question for me before I let it go? We got that one out in 16 minutes. 16 minutes. So you got 6 free minutes, Tim. 6 free minutes. You're welcome. It is my pleasure. If you have any other questions, you can join me on the Dayla the Demon Whisperer on Patreon. There are free and paid memberships, so both have benefits. Definitely join me over there. If no one else has a question, then I will let you guys go. Thank you for joining me here. We'll meet back here sometime this week to do a reading on Wiley after I get more information about what's going on. Thank you for joining, Ted. I am so glad to have you over there, because that's what we're really going to get down. When I say that, I come with a plethora of shit, and in a good way. Like, I'm lucky because I can work with a lot of different tools to get work done. Some things require, a ritual or some kind of magic, but there are some things that just require a link, a resource that I have to help you unlock something. Not everything do you have to pay somebody to do magic for you to get things done. You have power in yourself. So I'm glad we got to talk about this today. If you do want to just tell me how that works out for you, please feel free, and we'll keep in touch. Other than that, y'all, that's all I got. Ain't got no more. I don't know if I should sing it. I guess I should. Let me see what the baby want to do. So for now, that's all I got. I guess she don't want to do it. Hey, God, no more. You want to sing with me? Come here, baby. I was waiting for you. Oh, she got a nasty attitude. She got to eat and go to bed. Come here, sugar butt. I was waiting for you. We're waiting for you. Don't you come here. Stop it now. You don't have to go to bed, honey. Let's just sit. You don't have to go to bed. Oh, if this is about you going to bed, then you can go in. Okay. It's okay. It's okay. You want to sing? It's okay. Stop crying. The phone. I know. It's fun to stay up all night. But can we talk about that in a minute? Can we work that out in a minute? Okay. Do you want to sing with me? You do? You want me to start the song again? Okay. Ready? Okay. That's all I got. Mwah. I love you. Good night, y'all. We'll see you around these YouTube streets somewhere doing something. I holla.